Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday to all. I have my microphone on, and I hope you all can hear me. I'm not planning to do edits on my computer, it just takes too long. And so I know there's a handful of you that it seems like it's not working out. Maybe try a different browser because it seems like Chrome, Google related things might be affecting it. But it's also Mercury retrograde. And so there's two things I want to talk to you guys about. I would love to review this new moon that we had on February 23rd, Sunday at 10:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's one prominent thing you guys will notice about this, and it's kind of like be careful what you wish for. Because as you've known in the past, I have talked about horoscopes and that we kind of guess what's going on, and that we might not know everything that's going on because planets would be below the horizon, and then that's not meant for us to see. And so, but it seemed like there was a lot of activity going on and we never knew what it was. Well, this time we have all the planets above the horizon for this lunation. And I didn't even try to turn on the news. I just, by the way, I am just kind of on overwhelm right now with Piscean energy and a lot of the intuitive energy and stuff that's coming at me. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by it. But all these planets above the horizon in DC means we're getting massive dumps of information and news, etc., 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 and none of it makes sense. I will tell you the one thing that I did check in on, I just kind of glanced to see what was going on, and they were just people screaming about the Democrats. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. With this election, it's like, hey now, all this screaming at the Democrats and blaming them for everything. First of all, you're blaming the wrong person. Second of all, this is what election interference and hijacking of the minds of all the different sides looks like. This is exactly it. And no one person can solve it but the people who are running 2/3 of the government, who are absolutely refusing to cooperate with anything. So please just be aware of that. It feels like things have been escalated to a point of just screaming, bullying, overwhelming the left or Democrats with some sort of outrage. And it's like, people start doing that, it's time to step back, realize there's a provocation going on with a purpose. Okay? That's all I can tell you about that. But so that's one thing. So we're going to get blasted by this all month. Last month we had to deal with all that unexpected, jolting, upheaval, tornadic energy of chaos. And now it's just going to be gaslighting everywhere, screaming about everything. So that was that. When I did the check-ins for this Tarotscope, because I'm like, there's so much going on, especially there's a lot going on with WikiLeaks and that whole thing related to the election. Interesting that we're Mercury retrograde, and here we are. Because a year ago we were in Mercury retrograde, and during that Mercury retrograde, Bill Barr withheld the Mueller report. So it's no surprise. It's all coming back at us now, especially when we're basically in eclipse click points as long as Mars is in Capricorn. And the dog needs to go out. So you're just going to go walk with me for a second here. Yes. So Mars is right now, this is the second thing I wanted to talk with all you guys about, was this Mars that is in Capricorn right now, because it is 6 degrees Capricorn, and it's an applying conjunction to the south node of the moon. What's that south node of the moon? Well, first of all, it's about releasing stuff, just letting go of stuff. And when we feel like we've been that point when you're hanging on to something, but then you're forcing it too much to make something happen, that is not abiding by the south node of releasing something that needs to be released. You're forcing, not releasing something. So we've got Mars here addressing this, the south node of releasing something, the decline of something, the separation, the of something that needs to be let go. And it could be related to a structure. It could be something that's established in our lives. It could be an authority type that's in our lives. It's pushing us to let it go. Let it go, let it go. You know, like that song Frozen, I'm going through my mind. Let it go. And I'm sorry we just sidetracked to that. The other thing with my head, my brain getting blasted with Piscean third eye intuitive stuff is I'm having a hard time keeping my thoughts straight in line. So that's where we are with that. That's the second part of this discussion where I wanted to go. We were just going for a little walk to let the dog out. But with this lunation, there's several firsts in here when I did the check-ins that I'm kind of like, wow. First of all, Donald usually, you know, his Tarotscope, he will have a lot of people running his errands for him, and he'll line up with them exactly in the house and area of the same tarot card. He doesn't have that. The thing that is massively on his mind is Roger Stone, and also his agreement with the public servants, with people in government that are going to honor the Empress, which is the Trump-Russia co-ruling of both countries. But nobody is aligning with him. I just find that very odd. I'm not seeing a lot of Putin. I'm not seeing a lot of Six Wands Mob. I am seeing a ton of stuff related, though, to WikiLeaks. I thought this was interesting that Donald on the ascendant, the thing that gives him life this whole week, of course, is him, candidate, his Trump dynasty. The Republican Party also had the Ten of Pentacles in their area of secrets. So that is so did Calgon Chow and Mitch had that in their area of secrets, Donald. This Vault 7 stuff with WikiLeaks is very interesting. Shelby Pearson, election securities. She seems to know what's going on with the secret talks related to election stuff. With Vault 7, she aligns with Brittany Kaiser on that, and Putin. I find it interesting that Mitch, we look at the second house of income gains during Super Tuesday seasons. That has to do with votes. So Mitch has suppression of votes in the second house of, votes and gains, as did Bill Barr. And they both had in the third house of communications the plan that they're developing exactly the same. Christopher Wray, though, seems to be onto something about this voting business with the Republican Party, because he aligns with that with Pompeo, who's doing the Republican Party bidding. Yeah, and he wasn't supposed to stop in that place in Florida the other day, meeting with another big donor that was not on his calendar of events. Chris Wray is on to the Republican Party with Pompeo, and the Republican Party and Melania. MoFlo is active again, you guys, with stuff with voting again. I'm very happy to see, in one of the previous election videos I did, I can't even remember which one it was at this time. The Seven of Cups, what I kept saying was like the poof that happens at our elections. It's like whatever they have, whether it's a microchip, however they are rigging the system, the election system with electronic voting and old machines. The Seven of Cups thing I describe as vote totals come in, things look neck and neck, and then all of a sudden, poof, something happens to the counts, and then everything accelerates for the Republican Party. That Seven of Cups, Schiff has that on his ascendant. Pelosi had that in her first house of identity. Chris Wray had that in USA Defenses. And the FBI has that in the house of the sun, which is the president. D&I Coates, for some reason I wanted to read on him. He came up with that Seven of Cups poof thing that came up in Putin's house, lands far away. This magician, remember I said that's the thing that manipulates. The magician is actually the microchip, you know, taking from that theory about from the 2010 to 2015 microchips that were installed on motherboard servers for big companies as back channels, and applying that to elections, how these microchips are somehow installed on the servers, information, so that it can be a back channel into information, because I'm convinced that the Republican Party has all the Democrat proprietary voter information. So the microchip shows up as the magician. You know who has the magician? Brad Parscale is his hidden enemy. His hidden enemy against someone else, and the hidden enemy to be used against him. Who else had the microchip? Where is it? Chelsea Manning and Julian Assange. They both had this in the areas of public servants and we the people, manipulating votes. Chris Wray had that in lands far away, the microchip. The CIA has that in the area of shared resources. So there are a lot of things that are showing up related to WikiLeaks, Chelsea Manning, Josh Schulte, Brittany, Vault 7. I was glad to see Cassandra Fairbanks finally made it in the news. Yeah, it is just really interesting how everything once again took a turn with a different narrative. Oh, let's go let the dog in.